Next game on the list, we got the Washington football team versus New York Giants. I'll be honest with you, I got exactly what I thought I would get from both of these teams last week. The Giants could not score. Well, what do you do when you really need to score points? You play the Dallas defense, and then you magically can score some points. The Giants were able to score. I think that's going to help their confidence as an offensive unit going forward. Washington, they get Chase Young back. Their defense, they give up some points to the Rams. It was a slop game. It was pouring rain. Alex Smith comes back in with the bionic leg. Great for Alex Smith. I'm glad, by the way, finally Washington benched Dwayne Haskins, who in my opinion was the worst starting football quarterback in the league. Kyle Allen, unfortunately, he got a hit and he went out of the game. I think Kyle Allen would have been able to do a little bit better than Alex Smith was going to be able to do. So basically is we have two teams that I think have major weaknesses in different sides of the field. I think both defenses are better than the offenses, and I think this will be a low-scoring game. Therefore, I don't love anybody here, although I would start Antonio Gibson. I would start Terry McLaurin. Logan Thomas, I was hoping to see a little bit more out of him last week. Didn't see it, so I'm kind of selling on him for the time being anyway. I think he will get better as the season progresses. The Giants, I continue to elevate my opinion of Devonta Freeman. He will get better and better as I've been predicting throughout the year. Darius Slayton, no surprise that he went off against Dallas, but I think he comes back down to earth this week as well, although I think you can start him. And that's about it for me in this game. It's about 3 startable players. Take it away, David.
I'm going to start with Washington because there was a clear shift, obviously, going from Haskins, then to Kyle Allen, then to Alex Smith. First of all, we don't even know who's going to start this next week.
True.
Whether it's going to be Alex Smith, whether it's going to be Kyle Allen. Ron Rivera stuck with Alex Smith, but he sure didn't do a whole lot to give him reason for.
I don't think he threw. He only threw one pass beyond 5 yards. I'm serious. I was watching it because I wanted to see what the new quarterback. It was bad.
If that.
Yeah.
He was 9 for 17, 37 yards. That's 2.2 yards per attempt.
That's bad.
Not even per completion, per attempt.
I mean, the weather was so bad, so it was hard to get that. But you could see
he looked scared.
He looked scared, and the Washington's offensive line against the Rams. There were 3 people in the backfield. I mean, Donald had 4 sacks. There was another guy that had 3 sacks by halftime. I mean, this is just
Smith took 6 sacks, and Allen took 2, so they had 8 total sacks. So
brutal.
It's not good. Alex Smith, I mean, he took the sacks, which is good that we saw him get hit and survive. But my goodness, before the even play was snapped, he's like back there, like shaking his feet. I'm like, is this guy all right? Like. It was concerning watching that game when Alex Smith came in. So I do actually think it's good news for the running backs. I think the offense probably is going to be worse for the next couple of weeks until one of those quarterbacks settles in. But my goodness, are they just targeting the running backs between Kyle Allen and Alex Smith? McKissick and Gibson combined for 11 receptions. So this is good for the running backs. It's very, 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 very bad news for Terry McLaurin, who only had 3 receptions for 26 yards. If they can't push the ball down the field, if they can't even attempt passes beyond 3 to 5 yards beyond the line of scrimmage, it's going to take Terry McLaurin from a low-end wide receiver 1 to a low-end wide receiver 2. Like, it's going to be a major drop unless we can see Kyle Allen take over the job or Alex Smith somehow transform into not Alex Smith. But at this point, it doesn't look good for Terry McLaurin with either of these quarterbacks behind center. I mean, I don't think you can sell him in redraft after this week. You just kind of ride it out and hope for the best. Maybe after a big week, see if you can sell high. I don't have a ton of faith. I love McLaurin, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But this quarterback situation, it's gonna cap the potential.
They did
Antonio Gibson.
Let me jump in. McLaurin did get behind the defense once, and had an opportunity. Alex Smith missed him, and that was literally literally like the one pass that I saw beyond 5 yards of scrimmage. But yeah, back to Antonio Gibson.
Because the thing that I love is J.D. McKissick is getting so many receptions. Like, at a certain point, I think they're gonna start to give Gibson even more of McKissick's targets, and even if he doesn't. He's caught 4 passes in 2 consecutive games right now. That's what we wanted to see from Gibson, was the receiving role. He doesn't need to be in a good offense to produce big plays. He's just an electric playmaker, so he's an every week start at this point.
Agreed. Let me hit you with the line here. It's Washington +3 at the Giants.
I'm going to take the Giants just because that quarterback situation in Washington. I mean, it's not much better with the Giants, but I'm not betting on this game.
I agree. If I had to pick one, I think the line is honestly a push for me. I think that it's a Giants by 3. That's where I would set it. So I think it's a push, but Giants will have a little bit more, sometimes just momentum, sometimes just some confidence will help. They hit some things last week against Dallas. Now again, Dallas's defense is bad, but you gotta feel a little bit better if you're a Giant offensive player today than you did going into Sunday. So I'll take the Giants to ride the momentum combined with Washington's kind of flux at quarterback. Kyle Allen to me is clearly the starter there, but we'll see how it shakes out. The announcers seem to think that Alex Smith will be a long-term starter in Washington. I think it's Kyle Allen. And remember, he's been in that system for a couple of years back in Carolina. So